Hey guys, I'm Andrea and I have partnered with CoverGirl to show you guys my step-by-step easy foundation routine. And we're going to be using the CoverGirl TruBlend Matte Made Foundation for today's videos. And I'm actually going to show you guys how I apply this foundation using a brush as well as a beauty sponge. And I know there are a lot of us out there that prefer to use a brush over a beauty sponge, and there are also a lot of us that prefer to use a sponge over a brush. So today you guys will get to see how this foundation works using a brush and a beauty sponge, so that way you guys can kind of see the differences if there is a difference. And I'm also going to be using the brush and the beauty sponge with the CoverGirl TruBlend It's Lit Concealer. So in this video I'm going to be focusing more so on my base, so that is, you know, the primer, the concealer, the color correcting, as well as the foundation. So like I mentioned, the foundation that we're going to be using is the CoverGirl TruBlend Matte Made Foundation. As far as the primer, we're going to be using the CoverGirl TruBlend Business Base Skin Primer. And this is supposed to smooth out your skin and just kind of give you that smooth, even canvas before you apply your foundation. And when it comes down to the concealers, we're going to be taking the CoverGirl TruBlend It's Lit Concealer. I have two shades, and I'm going to show you guys in this video how I use both of these shades. We're also going to be doing a little bit of color correcting in today's video. So the color corrector that I'm going to be using is from the CoverGirl TruBlend Pre-Touching Palette. So I will be using one shade out of this palette, so you guys will get to see that and to see how I use it on the skin. So yeah, I'm super excited to show you guys my easy foundation routine. So if you guys are interested in watching, then let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so the very first thing that I like to do is prime the skin. And for the primer, we're going to be using the CoverGirl TruBlend Base Business Skin Primer. And like I said earlier, this is a good primer to smooth out your skin. And what I like about this primer is not only does it smooth out the skin, it also moisturizes the skin as well. So this is really, really smooth on the skin. It's not too heavy on the skin. It's very lightweight. And this is just gonna really give you that extra moisture as well as smooth out your skin before you apply all of your foundation. So the very next step that I like to take is color correcting. And this is just going to even out the skin before you apply your foundation. So first you want to make sure you prime the skin, and then of course if you have dark spots or any type of discoloration in your skin, you want to make sure that you're color correcting, so that way when you put your foundation on, it looks super even, super flawless, and just super good. So for that, I like to take the CoverGirl TruBlend Pre-Touching Palette. So I like to take just one shade out of this palette because this shade pretty much works for me. And they do have three shades, as you guys can see, but the shade that I use is yellow, and the yellow one is supposed to even out your discoloration in the skin. So if you have the dark spots or any, you know, discoloration in your skin, yellow is supposed to cancel that out. And then also the other two shades in here, you have the green and the purple. So for the green just reduces redness. So if you have a lot of redness in your skin, you can definitely use that to just kind of cancel the redness out. And then you have purple, which is supposed to brighten your skin tone. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take the yellow, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put these all over my dark spots and just kind of blend it out. And then another thing that I like to do is after I apply a little bit of this on the skin, I like to go over it with a concealer. And the concealer that I'm using is the CoverGirl TruBlend It's Lit Concealer, and this one is in the shade Deep. So pretty much anywhere that I applied the yellow color corrector on the skin, I'll go on top of that with this concealer. And I like to do that because it's going to give me that extra coverage. And the thing about this concealer is this is going to also give you good coverage. So even if you don't color correct with the retouching palette, you can actually just use this concealer just to kind of cancel out any of the discoloration that you have in your skin, and then go on top of that with the foundation. So yeah, I'm just going to take a little bit of this It's Lit Concealer and just place it on all of the spots that we did with the retouching palette. So now, as you guys can see, one side I'm using a beauty sponge, so we're just going to go ahead and blend out this concealer with the sponge. And as you guys can see, it just blends out super easy with the sponge. One thing about using a sponge is you want to make sure that you wet it first, because if you don't wet the sponge, it's not going to, you know, blend out the product on your face really good. Then we're going to go over to the other side, and we're just going to use a brush to blend the product out. And as you guys can see, it still blends it out really good, really easily, and it just makes everything look seamless. All right, so after priming the skin, color correcting, and also doing a little bit of concealer, this is when I go in with my foundation. So we're gonna go ahead and take the CoverGirl TruBlend Matte Made Foundation, which is actually one of my favorite affordable foundations, you guys. I have raved about this a lot on my channel, but this is in the shade D50, and I love the coverage of this foundation. One thing about this is you don't necessarily have to color correct if you don't really want to, because this is going to give you that good coverage. But if I want that extra coverage and just to make sure that nothing is, you know, peeking through the foundation, I do like to go ahead and color correct and conceal before I apply this. But this is really beautiful on the skin. It is a comfort matte foundation, so it's not too drying on the skin, which is one thing that I really like. And I also like how it wears really good on the skin all throughout the day, you guys. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and apply this on the face. So as you guys can see here, I'm using my foundation brush on this side, and this is a flat top foundation brush, which I think is really easy to use versus any other type of foundation brush. I don't know, I just feel like it blends out the foundation so much better. But I like to kind of make little small tapping motions first, and then I'll go in and just kind of rub the brush on the face just to kind of get that product to blend out. But you guys see here that it is blending out so nicely, so seamlessly, and it just looks really nice on the skin. So yeah, so this is the side with the foundation brush. You see that nice coverage. It just looks really good. Now we're just gonna make our way over to the other side of the face, and you guys see that I am using a beauty sponge. So with the beauty sponge, you wanna make sure that you wet it first, because if you don't wet the sponge, it's gonna be harder for you to blend out your foundation. So even with a beauty sponge, it blends out really nicely. So it's pretty much up to you if you prefer to use a brush or a sponge. But you guys see here that the foundation blends out so good with the sponge as well. Now after I apply my foundation, I like to go in and highlight my under eyes, and I'm gonna take the CoverGirl TruBlend It's Lit Concealer in the shade Medium Deep. So I use Deep to kind of go over the color corrector, and then I use Medium Deep to kind of go for my my under eye concealer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend out one side with the brush and then one side with the beauty sponge. So as you guys can see here, it's blending out really nicely with the brush. It's not what I would prefer. I prefer to use a beauty sponge when using a concealer. I just feel like it blends out so much better under the eyes when you're using a beauty sponge. But this right here is what it looks like with the foundation brush. Now we have it all blended out, so this is what it's looking like. And then of course we're gonna go over to the other side and blend this out with a beauty sponge. And as you guys can see, it just blends out so much easier. But that is my personal preference when using a concealer, is to always use a beauty sponge. But yeah, this is what everything is looking like so far. But right now I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face, and then we're gonna come back and talk more about the products that we use in today's video. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, so this is what it all looks like after I get done completing my entire makeup look. So again, this video is all about the base, so I wanted to show you guys my really simple and easy foundation routine. But as far as the other products that I use for the eyes, I have on the CoverGirl TruNaked Peach Punch palette. So I just pretty much took this middle shade in here, right here, which is this really pretty champagne color, and put it on the inner corner of my tear duct. And then for the entire lid, I mixed two shades, so this end shade right here as well as this end shade right here. I mixed these two together and just dusted it all over the lid. Very simple and easy. For the brows, I use my CoverGirl Easy Breezy Microfine Brow Pencil, and I am in the shade Soft Brown. And then for my lips, I use the CoverGirl Demi-Matte Lipstick, and this is in the shade Trending, which is so pretty, you guys. Like, this is the best everyday color. It is so pretty. Love it. But yeah, that's pretty much all that I have on the face. I wanted to keep it really simple, but let's go ahead and talk about the products that we use in today's video, starting out with the foundation. So again, this is the CoverGirl TruBlend Matte Made Foundation, and the shade that I used is D50. So if you're looking for a foundation that's going to last all day and still look good by the end of the day, as well as look really natural on the skin, then definitely try this out. I will have this one linked down below in the description. Also, the primer that we use is really nice if you have texture, or if you want something that's really nice and smoothing as well as moisturizing. This is really nice to use on the skin. And then of course, for those of you who are needing to kind of color correct your skin, definitely try out the pre-touching correcting palette. So you do have the 3 shades in here, but I only used one, and I felt like this one is the only one that would really just, you know, compliment me, and it worked really, really well, especially combined with the concealer that I use. I guess that's just my little trick that I like to do. Like if I do any type of color correcting, I still like to go on top of that with the concealer because that's gonna give me that extra coverage. But yeah, if you are looking for a affordable color corrector palette, definitely try this out. And then of course the concealers that we use, I use 2 shades in today's video. So I have medium deep and deep. So medium deep is the one that I use under my eyes, and then deep is the one that I use to kind of spot conceal on top of the color corrector that we use before we conceal the face. But yeah, definitely try those out. And again, I will have all of the products linked down below if you guys are interested in checking them out. But I think that is all that I have for this video. Let me know if you guys prefer to use a brush over a beauty sponge, and also let me know if you saw a difference. Like when I started applying the foundation with the brush as well as the beauty sponge, let me know if you saw a difference on the skin, like what side looked different than the other side. Honestly, I really didn't see a difference. The main thing that I saw when using the brush and the sponge is when I was using the concealer. And when I used the brush with the concealer, I saw it didn't really blend out as good as it did with the sponge. And like I said earlier, I always prefer to use a sponge when using my concealers. That's just my personal preference. So let me know if you prefer to use a brush or a beauty sponge. I would love to know your thoughts. So let's go ahead and chit chat down below in the comments. And again, if you guys are interested in any of the products that I shared in today's video, I have them linked down below for you guys. But yes, I think that is all that I have for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you thumbs it up if you did. And also a huge thank you to CoverGirl for allowing me to collab with you guys in today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.